we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It's Markets in the Morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Tuesday, October 17th, 2023. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action of the cryptocurrency market, including the Bitcoin price chart, which is above $28,000. We take a look over there at the stock market as the stock market opens in the next 2 minutes, along with looking at any other thing that is important, such as the altcoin market or the US dollar currency index, precious metals, dominances, and of course, any type of financial news or any type of crypto-related news that is starting our day off. I was off yesterday, so for me, it's kind of like kicking off the fresh new week, feeling good, ready to rock. We've had some price action in crypto. So without further ado, of course, we'll just go ahead and jump in and talk about what's been going on here in the cryptocurrency market. I see you guys in the chat. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Bitcoin is sitting above $28,000 currently, coming off of some wild action that happened yesterday that most of you probably ended up catching in there, as some news came out that a Bitcoin ETF was approved. Essentially, the BlackRock iShares Bitcoin spot ETF was approved. This news was released by Telegraph, which was then picked up by another news organization and picked up by Reuters and then picked up by Bloomberg and sent out on the Bloomberg terminal. So essentially it got carried away and spread like a wildfire, only for it to get taken right back as Bitcoin went up and hit $28,000. Now, what was interesting about the price action leading up to that is we were actually already having a really good start to the week. Prices were already on the move in the upward direction, and then just some random Monday morning news as the markets opened up, and then it took it right back, but then things just kind of continued on ever since there as if it never happened. But prices were already on the grind. Question is Bitcoin still following itself as it has been for the last nearly 3 years? Price has finally started to move. Again, most of this move is not related to the Bitcoin spot ETF news. Most of this was occurring prior to that actually ending up happening. We're only sitting about $250 higher than we were prior to when that crazy news wick ended up coming out. But Bitcoin sits now at 28,273. So has the magic begun? That's the big question. Starting to look like it has. We'll keep an eye on it. One of the things, of course, I'm watching over here is just structure for Bitcoin. Currently, right now, with it sitting above this wick over here from back on August 29th, it's looking pretty good. This is a reasonable place for a support to be building in here. An example of that would be like back in 2020. We've referenced to this several times, right? There was this massive liquidation that took place before the run-up actually began. That was the same kind of thing that we just saw recently. Everybody screaming that we were going lower. It essentially caught the market by surprise. The most recent time we had something like that was back in C19. So it was a lot of PTSD in here thinking that we were going to go back down to $4,000, $3,000 again for Bitcoin. It ended up holding. We've seen similar behavior like that with retail investors currently, with a lot of people emotionally screaming for $12,000. Price has held, doing something very similar in here, so we can kind of see where this retracement's gotten back to. We've kind of gotten back to that breakdown level that happened when the real liquidation actually took place. That's very similar to where this consolidation was taking place back in here. So right now, for things to be looking pretty good, just really kind of holding this area right here, holding $28,000, even if it stays here for days and on weeks, it actually would be okay. But that's kind of the thing I'm watching for right now. Have we actually started that rampage to the upside? So timing wise, running a little bit late, a couple days late there. I think the furthest we've been behind is 4 days. We'll see if that thing ends up catching itself up in time, which would be right around November 2nd, I believe, right at the end of the month. So otherwise, nice to see some life breathed into Bitcoin. The nice thing to see here too is that the life was breathed into it before that news, that fake news by Cointelegraph did end up getting released. And structurally, it's very normal to As you can see even here in the past, right? Kind of an ABC and then works its way out. You can see the ABC and then working its way out. So prices are looking pretty good for Bitcoin currently right now. Just we'll see, watch throughout the day to see if $28,000 can continue to be that support or if we have to start kind of looking for something different. As of right now, that really just looks really familiar to me and looking good so far. So rock and roll for Bitcoin. As for the stock market, now the stock market is open. Looks like it's a little bit improved from what it was in pre-market. The Dow is down 96 points now that the stock market is open. The S&P is down 29 points and the NASDAQ is down 160. So the NASDAQ is down 1%, 1.09, S&P down 0.68, and the Dow is down 0.21, coming off of a big day yesterday with the Dow Jones being up over 330 points yesterday. So quite an improvement compared to, quite a big day yesterday. It's not like we've completely taken that back. The NASDAQ does seem to be taking quite a big hit currently right now. So we'll see how the rest of the day ends up playing out. So we'll see here. Let's look over at the stocks right now. Nvidia is your biggest loser this morning, down 5% this morning. I wonder if there's something in particular going on with Nvidia. United Health is your leader. It's the only one on this list that is in the green, followed by Netflix and Ford, which are slightly in the red, along with Caterpillar. Big losers today so far, at the opening at least, is Nvidia, Amazon, and Tesla. Again, we're coming off of a day yesterday that was very green, but you do have long duration yields up quite a bit with the 10-year, 5-year, 30-year, 20-year, 3-year, 2-year, 1-year, all up quite a bit, especially that 10, 5, 30, and 20 up nearly 2%, up 0.12% basis points. Looking over there at gold, gold had a really big week at the end of the week. So we didn't really get to cover this yesterday because I was off yesterday morning, but gold went flying back to the upside last week and especially last Friday. Look at this big candle right in here from 1868 all the way up to 1930. Yesterday, a little bit of a pullback. Gold still struggling right here. I do believe this is a pretty big resistance level right here for gold. I think anything beyond that seems like a breakout, but that this is a pretty big area where a stall could happen here for gold. So close eyes are on this for me, particularly on this being an actual paused out spot. With that, we've been seeing some downward action over here in the DXY. We saw a big bounce last week in the DXY and now pulling back down. This morning, there was a little bit of volatility coming out in there due to retail sales data coming in. So retail spending was up. It came in at 0.6% increase month over month. Expectations were 0.2%. So, it's kind of a threading a needle situation when it comes to retail sales. How much are people spending their money? If people are overspending, it creates the worry that the Fed is going to end up continuing to raise interest rates. It doesn't seem to be the case. You could look here. 88.2% probability still that the Fed is going to be paused when it comes to that interest rate hike. But if it's under, right, if it came in at less than 0.2%, what would the worry be? The worry would be that, we're going into recession. Consumers are weak. Consumers don't have money. So that needle needed to be threaded a lot tighter in order for the market to be okay with it, end up exceeding it quite a bit. So, of course, creates some more demand for the dollar and worries that we're going to see interest rate increases. However, 88% probability that we're not, but you do see these yields do still continue to rise, these U.S. Treasury yields. So we've got Treasury yields up big time. You got the stock market down today after a big day yesterday. The Dow down 86 points, the S&P down 31, the NASDAQ taking the biggest hit of them all at 175 points into the red, down 1.16%. Coming off of about a 1% increase yesterday. So we can look at that a little closer. Is it just kind of taken back yesterday? Yeah, pretty much. So there's yesterday. There we go. There's yesterday. And then here's this morning. So gap up yesterday, gap back down, close the gap from yesterday. Now trying to see if this thing is going to trend or find support in here. So that's kind of been our week so far for the NASDAQ at least. Big pop up, take it all back on Tuesday. But as for Bitcoin, everything looking good over here. Following along, are we going to get our continuation? It's still kind of looking like we are, so we'll keep monitoring that closely. And it looks like the Dow is doing a little bit of improvement now that the day is getting going. It's that NASDAQ and that tech that's kind of had the struggle this morning. Again, we'll keep our eyes over there on gold to see if it gets that breakout, just because of that inverse relationship between gold and the stock market when it comes to actual bull runs and bear markets. But that seems to be our opening today. Big day Monday, takes it all back here at the opening on Tuesday, at least for the NASDAQ. Not quite so for the Dow. Dow was up 330 yesterday, currently down 65. So it's still plus 270 for the week so far. not as dramatic as we see over there in the NASDAQ. All right, Bitcoin looking okay. 28,200 for the morning to start the day off. Dow looking okay. It's that NASDAQ that's taken a hit. Gold okay. Still at the resistance level from that big surge that took place last week. Really in that whole week, it goes from 1820 all the way up to 1930, a $100 move in 1 week. Bitcoin dominances and the safety trade dominances still just chugging along over here. You can actually see the Bitcoin dominance has shifted back up to those heights once again in here. But what we can see is in the safety trade where we have Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDT, USDC, there's nothing changing in here. So what's happening? This money is all sloshing around in here into Bitcoin and primarily out of Ethereum. As you can see that dominance of Ethereum has been falling pretty drastically here in October, going from about 19.2% to 17.8%. It's about 1.5% difference. No change happening over here in the safety trade dominance, but where is it sloshing around to? It's sloshing from Ethereum to Bitcoin within the same trade. So there's a lot of volatility in there when it comes to shifting to Bitcoin from Ethereum. But this isn't really a broader market move thing. This is more so just Ethereum. And we could see that here, right there with Ethereum, one of the more steepener moves we've seen since back in September of last year. It's been about a year since we've seen something like this from Ethereum. As for XRP, nothing exciting for XRP. Still no real signs of life being expressed in here after this liquidation that took place back in August of 2 months ago, right? Happens to be August 17th, literally 2 months on the day. We have done nothing but run flat through here the entire time, waiting to see some type of life breathe into XRP. There haven't been any signs of it just yet. But otherwise, the big thing to keep an eye on right now is Bitcoin has started making some type of a move happening in here. Is this going to be the breakout move that occurs? Structurally, I'm going to be paying attention here to $28,000 to see if that support level can hold. That's a very reasonable place for a support level to hold for Bitcoin and consolidate here to then eventually shift its way up and get going. So looking good for Bitcoin. Again, this move was all happening prior to that news that came out from Cointelegraph yesterday that eventually went to the Bloomberg terminal and got, released to the masses. Right here. So we were already shifting up prior to that. It took it all back, and now we're just kind of continuing what we were already doing. So this is still not like leftover residuals of what was happening with that news release. Cointelegraph said that they were going to do some type of internal investigation and give a report 3 hours later of what happened because they were open to transparency. I never ended up seeing that report of what ended up happening. But if you haven't seen, the CEO or the head honcho president of Cointelegraph did come out and say that if you're not first, you're last, and this is a product of society, and it's not their fault. It's everybody else's fault but theirs. So I don't know. Interesting situation there from Cointelegraph. Not cool. I mean, I get it. So maybe you had a bad source that came out in there and it got carried away a little bit too fast. But tell everybody what happened, right? But I don't think they have yet. So, all right. Either way, Bitcoin looking just fine in here, holding on top of that 28K. That's the one I'll be watching here for the next couple of days to see if we can continue holding supports on there. Looking good. I know a lot of people were asking me about death cross. I've often said death crosses have a tendency to mark bottoms. Here is the death cross back in here. I made a tweet, said, hey, people will end up getting left behind. I'll have to go find that tweet, whatever it was. I think it was back there on September 10th. Death crosses do not typically send prices falling. It's usually the marks of actual bottoms. And now here we are back above all daily moving averages again. We're back above the 50, 100, and 200 currently right now. Again, giving more reason for why that $28,000 level is an interesting price level as well, holding above all of those moving averages. So good to go in there. And nice to see us getting further and further away. The 12K callers have definitely faded. We had to fight through that, right? You see that happen a lot when all those emotions get really heavy. Those have started to subside. So you probably hear me talking about it less to have to fight against the sentiment. But now it is becoming the bigger moment of, hey, can we get this show on the road? Can we get this puppy sailing here now? And looking good so far. All right, stock market a little bit more improved now that the day is getting going. Look at that. You got Coinbase in the green, ARK, Roblox, Roblox, I saw some news over there on CoinDesk or Cointelegraph, one of them. I guess they are now using BitPay, and BitPay has XRP, so you could pay for your Robux for your kids with XRP. If you haven't listened to the channel, I have kids. Kids play Roblox, and I totally get it. I totally get how they spend their Robux on their Roblox accessories. And I think that was the thing that actually kind of got me to understand why people did like the avatar style NFTs. It was really hard for me to wrap my head around that in the beginning until I kind of, and it was maybe because of my mindset for a long time. Like in video games, I've played Call of Duty for years on end. I've been playing Call of Duty for maybe 15 years, maybe 16 years at this point. And, as the years go by, it's less and less and less. If I play it once a week for 20 minutes, that's kind of lucky now. But one thing they always had were loot crates. And I always thought it was so dumb. I would never spend my money on loot crates, to get special accessories or to, customize your gun or your apparel or your outfit. I always thought it was dumb, but occasionally you would see those guys walking by who were just totally decked out, and that they spent some money to get that. And it was kind of like it takes you from just being a standard pleb to kind of showboating your wealth a little bit, right? Doesn't change the gameplay. Doesn't mean that person plays any better than you, but they of course look a little cooler than you do. And that wasn't something I ever participated in, was buying those loot crates. But when you looked at like the financial reports of Activision and Call of Duty to see how were they doing, they were selling massive amounts of these loot crates. In-game purchases were monstrous. And so, just kind of get to the point, you rapidly see the price of Call of Duty fall off as the months pass by, merely just to get people into the game. If you get people into the game, then they can spend their money on in-game purchases. And so that's become something, and like I just didn't really realize how important it was to a lot of people and how much money there was in this of in-game personalization. And that on the internet, we don't really have many ways to do that, with our social media profiles and everything like that. And I don't know. That's what ended up making sense to me, is how much money actually is already spent on these types of customizations within video games, or metaverses, as if we want to call them. And then that's why it did take off in such success in regards to the avatar style NFTs. But Roblox, right? And my daughter is the same way. She asked for Robux for her birthday. She asked for them for Christmas. And what does she do? Does she go buy new games to get access into specific games or have access into new worlds? Nope. She's buying it so she can put the fairy wings on her back, so she can have the special halos or the special shoes and all that stuff. And I think there's probably just an age gap there that, if you're over 30, right, maybe you don't get it. But anybody under 30 probably does get it. And I think that's just, that was the hard age gap thing there when it came to NFTs. But Roblox was one of those things that really helped me kind of get it too, because I've watched my daughter spend so much money. Either way, Roblox now in the red. Roblox now accepting XRP via BitPay for in-game purchases and for Robux. So interesting to see that. But all right, there you go. Starting the day off this morning, NASDAQ down 206, 1.37%, taking back yesterday. S&P down 31 points, down 0.71%. Dow Jones down 63 points, down 0.18%. Mix over here in the stock market. Biggest loser this morning, Nvidia, getting absolutely hammered. I'll have to see if there's any type of news that has to go there with Nvidia. Gold 1926 as the morning gets going. DXY, have we touched on the DXY? I have lost my DXY chart. I think we talked about DXY. So there you go. DXY had a pop this morning on consumer spending data that consumers are still spending money. As consumers spend money, people worry that the Fed is going to raise interest rates, or at least keep interest rates higher for longer. Currently, it's still 86% expectations that the Fed will not raise interest rates on the November 1st meeting, which is in 15 days from right now. Otherwise, Bitcoin holding up okay. We'll keep our eyes on 28K to see if that ends up being a support level here. Dow doing okay. Now down only 35 points. It is amazing. You got NVIDIA down 6.74%. You got the Dow only down 33%, 33 points, not 33%. NASDAQ is the one getting hammered over here. Looking over at XRP, still holding up there at about 49 cents. Bitcoin at 28,200. And that's really our morning. You got the Dow almost in the green now, almost back into the green. It's those yields that are really hammering the market, and Nvidia just getting pummeled. I wonder what's going on with Nvidia. Okay, all right, moving on to news. Goldman Sachs tops estimates on stronger than expected bond trading. Bank of America tops profit estimates on better than expected interest income. Johnson & Johnson beats on earnings as heights outlook. Okay. So banks are doing well. I haven't dug into all of this, but I do know that some of these banks offer no interest on your deposits, and I bet they are investing it and getting 5% interest on your money and giving you nothing in return. At least Chase, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America are. There are several other ones that are not, that do actually offer high yield savings accounts, but I know that Bank of America and Chase definitely do not. Biden plans high stakes Israel visit to keep the war from escalating. Okay. Goldman traders help counter real estate losses. CVC Capital is said to near kickoff of a mega private equity IPO. Man, crazy. I just couldn't imagine IPOing right now. Country Garden, Evergrande set up 2 tense weeks for creditors. Life after C-19 turns rocky for reshaped healthcare businesses, and holiday spending to grow 14% this year. Holiday spending is expected to grow 14%. That's crazy. I don't see that. I don't see that. I only say that from data. Like, if you guys remember, I used to talk a lot when we were going through the insanity of like when container prices were rising drastically for importing from, sending containers throughout the whole world. Typically, like the cost of freight for sending a container from like Shenzhen or Shanghai to California, like Long Beach or Los Angeles, is typically just the freight costs alone. You're gonna have a lot of other stuff into. You're gonna have chassis, and you're gonna have unloading and dock fees and all that different stuff. But just the freight alone, like $1,200 to $1,500 is about what it costs to send a 40-foot high cube container from China to California. But then at one point, it got to like anywhere between $13,000 to $20,000 just for the freight cost to send those. Those freight costs have dropped all the way back down. I haven't looked at it lately. I think the last time I looked at it was many months ago, and it dropped down to like $3,000 already, and it's probably less than that by now. But when they're looking at like the busy season, we've been in the busy season for importing right now in September and October. That's when everybody's really fighting over container space to try to bring in products to meet holiday sales demand. And so this is the super busy season. The super busy season isn't typically going to be December, when the holidays are. It's going to be leading up to it, so everybody can have their inventory in stock and ready for it. And just that fight over container demand is not there. That rates are continuing to fall, and containers and shipping vessels are not being filled. And this is due to me talk. This is me in communications with freight forwarders that I have relationships with over there in California to understand, as they provide me like monthly reports on what's going on, to say that the rates are still falling and there's not a fight over container space. And that would mean that retailers either have too much inventory still, which seems hard to believe that they could sit on that much inventory for that long, or that they are forecasting that demand is not going to be that. So you see holiday spending to grow 14% this year. Survey shows. I don't think that's what retailers have in mind of what will end up happening. So we'll see how those reports come out in January and February of next year. But as of right now, in October, I'm telling you, the shipping vessels don't seem to indicate that, due to there not being a fight over vessel space. So, all right, that's your news. Banks are crushing it. Nothing really going on over here. Cointelegraph, Bitcoin price holds 6% gains as Bitcoin battles for crucial 28K support. I don't know if it's crucial, but I mean, it'd be nice to hold it. Roblox integrates XRP as a payment method. Like I said, it's just BitPay. Whole article written to say that, BitPay has XRP and you can use BitPay on Roblox to buy Robux. Lido on Solana wind down deemed necessary after low fees, says staking firm. Nishad Singh testifies in Sam Bankman-Fried's excessive investments through Alameda. U.S. government among largest Bitcoin holders with over $5 billion in Bitcoin. Let's go, U.S. government. FTX plans to return 90% of customer funds, but there's a catch. I guess we can read that just because some of you guys might care about that. I personally haven't ever put any funds on FTX. Trading Bitcoin on Binance got tougher during the ETF rumor frenzy. Israel freezes 100 Binance accounts over suspected Hamas links. Former top FTX executive testifies that he knew $8 billion of customer money was missing. An amended proposal released early Tuesday will be filed by the FTX debtors by mid-December if approved. Bankrupt crypto exchange FTX floated an amended proposal to return up to 90% of creditors' holdings held at the exchange before it went bust last November. The debtors group, which is currently overseeing the bankruptcy process, will formally file the plan by December 16th to a U.S. bankruptcy court for perusal. FTX collapsed last year after CoinDesk published revelations concerning the state of its balance sheet. New CEO John J. Ray III has berated financial controls at the company, while founder Sam Bankman-Fried is undergoing trial on criminal charges. The debtors proposed dividing missing customer assets into 3 pools based on circumstances at the start of Chapter 11 cases. Assets segregated for FTX.com customers, assets for FTX.US customers, and a general pool of other assets. The proposal stated that customers with a preference settlement amount of less than $250,000 can accept the settlement without any reduction of claim or payment. Preference settlement is 15% of customer withdrawals on the exchange 9 days before it went under. Essentially, that's saying that these people who had less than $250,000 represent 15% of the actual money on the exchange. Preference is 50% of customer withdrawals on the exchange 9 days before it went under. Creditors would further receive a shortfall claim against the general pool corresponding to the estimated value of the assets missing at their exchange, estimated to be nearly $9 billion for FTX and $166 million for FTX US, the exchange's US arm. However, recoveries could be marred by various factors such as taxes, government claims, token price fluctuations, and etc. Furthermore, the debtors could exclude any insiders, affiliates, customers from the settlement who may have known the commingling and misuse of customer deposits in corporate funds, or those who changed their KYC information to facilitate withdrawals when they were halted. The debtors said the payouts for these customers may not reflect the fair value of the FTX debtors' claims. That's it. Okay. That's your news. Anything else over here? Hot stories. Clarification on sharing false spot Bitcoin ETF news. Oh, hey, they addressed it. Okay, Cointelegraph apologizes to its readers and discusses its investigation into what led to the posting of unverified news on X about a Bitcoin spot ETF. Dear Cointelegraph readers, we are incredibly grateful for the support and trust you have placed in our publication over the last 10 years. We strive to deliver the most thoughtful, engaging, and impactful news affecting the cryptocurrency space. Earlier today, during routine coverage, Cointelegraph's social media team posted a message on X without prior editorial approval stating that the United States Securities and Exchange Commission had approved BlackRock's iShares Spot Bitcoin Exchange Traded Fund, or ETF. This was false, the result of misinformation. The news lead originated from an unconfirmed screenshot posted by an X user who claimed it was from the Bloomberg terminal. Cointelegraph did not ultimately publish an article with this incorrect information, but we deeply regret posting this in error on X and the impact it has caused. An internal investigation revealed that our standard procedure for posting breaking news on social media, wherein sources are required to be verified before posting to social media, was not followed. The timeline of events is as follows. The 1317 UTC. The editorial team was alerted to the rumored news through a Telegram channel that Cointelegraph employees use to discover stories that might be of interest. The full conversation is shared below. And you can see somebody post breaking SEC approves iShares Bitcoin spot ETF from Bloomberg. I know you know. Is that from the terminal? No, it hasn't come out yet. Not on Bloomberg website. Could it be from the terminal? And be scanned. Let me see. Okay. My colleagues jumped too fast. Haha. But yes, it's true. It's true. Are you sure? Yes, we've seen that. Where did you get this, please? We can't confirm. Would be a shame if everybody just started copy pasting us without proofs. Could you let us know where it got from, please? We were looking for a source. They've probably already posted it at this point. Whoa, Eric Belchunas on X. Whoa, Reuters is reporting SEC is approving the iShares Bitcoin ETF. This is via Benzinga and an actual headline on the terminal. I still want more confirmation, but the second source saying this reports BlackRock spot ETF is approved. False. Uh-oh. But is it true? What did your source say? Do you know where they got it? Uh-oh. It said it 6 minutes after our post, though. I think it's fake news. Eleanor Tourette, BlackRock just confirmed to me that this is false. Their application is still in review. That's what I see. Really, we just need to know where it came from in the first place so we can confirm it. Unfortunately, our colleague jumped too fast without looking. Deleted account. All right. Employee one reposted the text of lead shared by Telegram account has since been deleted to an internal Slack channel. In an effort to publish the developments as soon as possible, employee 2 posted the report to X without prior confirmation of the source's veracity from the editor. This violates Cointelegraph's social media process in which source confirmation and editorial approval are required before posting. Readers reported the issue to Cointelegraph via social media channels. There we go. In an internal Cointelegraph chat, employee 1 flagged that the source could not be located. Employee 3 from Cointelegraph edited the message on X to clarify that the information was unconfirmed. Reportedly. I remember when they made that change 30-something minutes later. They maybe make it unconfirmed, because who is reportedly? You. You're the one reporting it. Breaking, the SEC approves iShares Bitcoin spot ETF, reported by me. All right, Cointelegraph reached out to BlackRock and the Bloomberg terminal and removed the post. After receiving confirmation from BlackRock that the report was incorrect, Cointelegraph retracted the initial tweet and issued the following statement, right? They said they would conclude their investigation within 3 hours. To ensure that something like this does not happen again, the Cointelegraph team is thoroughly auditing and reviewing our social media management processes, especially around the authentication of breaking news before posts can be published. We are having conversations with all the employees involved and will make all necessary structural changes, meaning somebody's fired. This incident reminds the Cointelegraph team that our actions have serious ramifications across the cryptocurrency community. We're committed to learning from these mistakes and adhering to the highest standards of journalism. Okay, fair enough, right? I think this is a fair enough explanation of what happened rather than what Homegirl said in her interview yesterday. I think that's a reasonable excuse of what ended up playing out. They jumped the gun way too fast. They didn't have enough information. And it just went like a wildfire. I keep saying wildflower. All right. Anyway, Bitcoin was already in an uptrend prior to that ended up happening, and Bitcoin has still held there above 28,000 since that occurred. So I think everything is, well, more just like a blip on the radar, just show up there. But this looking good to me for Bitcoin currently right now. Stock market, a little bit of wishy-washy happening over here. I actually have Coinbase doing pretty decent today. It's up 3.5% now that the day is getting going. Coinbase is kind of leading the way over here right now, followed by United Health and ARK, loser of the day. Big one there, NVIDIA down $29 and 6.29%. Big loser over there for NVIDIA. Otherwise, red day over here in crypto. Not a lot going on to speak of after yesterday's kind of big green day over there in the market. Otherwise, rock on, man. Is Bitcoin going? It looks like it could be. So we're waiting for the next level of follow through to happen in here to get through the retracement level. So now we're at about 50% currently right now. Kind of give you a clue on how these things can happen, right? You can stall out underneath that 702, hang out here at like 50% for quite some time. I think I'm kind of close to that. There you go. You're sitting at about 50%, 702 at about 50%. Now it's just time to see if we can hold some decent supports here at 28. That's my big watch right now. Otherwise, on track, maybe. A little bit behind there, Bitcoin, but it looks like it has started shifting its way up. Now it's through the 50, 100, and 200-day moving averages for Bitcoin. So rock on. Let's go ahead and hop into the chat. After 35 minutes of rambling, feels good to be back on the mic and back to my rambling after a 3-day weekend. So I hope you guys had a good weekend, and it's nice to see that we've started this week off right over here in crypto at least. All right, Oscar Hernandez, my man, the first out the gates. Thank you, Oscar, for the super sticker, my brother, and the super chat. Bonkers for XRP. New member, welcome. Oscar Hernandez reminds me every time, and I appreciate it right here with his super chat. Thank you, man. He says, hit the like button, and don't forget to get your Christmas gift ready by checking out BCB merch. There you go. I always forget that. I always forget all this stuff. Okay. Follow me over here on Twitter or x.com at BCBacker. It's the only social media that I do use. On some of my posts lately, I have been testing that only verified accounts can reply in order to fight back against spam. Having mixed thoughts on that because I went and checked it from an account. Like on my end, it's going to end up showing, hey, you can reply to this conversation, or only verified accounts can reply to this conversation. But I checked it from an alt account that I have, and it doesn't look that way from the alt account. It doesn't say only verified accounts can reply. It looks like, hey, replies are turned off. And that's not what I'm going for. I'm not trying to give the appearance that I've turned replies off. I'm just trying to battle some spam over here because these accounts are absolutely ruthless in here of trying to scam people in the comment section of my stuff. So I don't really know how to handle this. I really wish x.com could come up with a solution for it. Instead of making me turn off replies. I don't know. Either way, this is the only social media that I do use, guys, at BCBacker over here on x.com. Of course, you could check out bcbacker.com for over 40 videos and over 11 hours of content, video content to fill your afternoon and your week and to keep you busy, diving into the cryptocurrency market, historical behavior of Bitcoin, a lot of research, and then, of course, how to set up your own charts and your indicators within TradingView, CoinTrader Pro, and teach you about accumulation setups, structures, patterns, and how to do your own indicators. And then, as Oscar says, if you're wanting some merch, there you go. You could check that out. I'll put a link to the merch store right there in the chat. There you go. There's the merch store. There's the Teachable BC Backer. And then Twitter, you can find that all on your own. But if you're looking for this and all kinds of stuff, there's men's clothes in here, there's women's clothes in here, there's kids' clothes in here, there's stuff for your baby, because your baby definitely needs it, including your pet. Your dog definitely needs it. Your baby, definitely. Your dog, absolutely. And then post pictures over there on Twitter, and I'll check those out. I always love seeing those. New member, new baby member. There you go. Check that out over there. Links in the description. Thank you, Oscar, for reminding me. And of course, guys, if you hit the like button, that's number one. That is the number one way to support the channel. More than going to bcbacker.com, more than the merch, more than following me on Twitter, just hitting that like button. That's all I ask. Sir Chavez, hey, BCB. What are your thoughts on negative fibs? Love your work. Negative fibs. Not sure what you mean by negative. Either I'm a dingus and don't understand, or if you're just talking about looking at them from that aspect. That aspect? Yeah, sure. For retracements. Huang Nguyen, I see that. I'm not sure what you mean by negative. If you're just talking about looking at them from the opposite direction, sure, of course. You can look at them from that aspect too. But they're essentially going to be very similar to what you have in here. But if you're talking about .236 extension to the downside, I don't know. I definitely haven't. I don't think so, but I also can't formulate an opinion to say that I've found confluence on it or have spent a tremendous amount of time looking for that type of relationship of like 4.236 extensions to the negative side. If you've done some research, hey man, you could be the one to share that and be the alpha spreader if you find some confluence with it. Of multiple situations where it works. But thank you, Sir Chavez. Member 1 month. Yo, no name. You don't have a name. I don't even know what to call you. You're just blank. Thank you, member, who says, yo. Pat, Thank you very much, Pat. Pat gifted 10 BCB memberships. If you guys had your name turn green, thank the man, Pat. Appreciate it, brother. Maurice D'Olive super chat. Thank you very much. Baby Oscar Hernandez says googity goo gaggity ga. Thank you, Baby Oscar Hernandez. 30x says, hey, can you share your thoughts on gold? Man, bro. That takes a full... I have videos on it. They're full-blown videos. I don't think I could do a 2-minute thought process on gold. I think we cover gold all the time. Gold has an inverse relationship to equity markets, and when it comes to bull runs, right? We could totally bounce around and flip and flop all over the place like this within a range with correlation to the stock market. But for actual bull runs, there's an inverse relationship in there. The question is, are we at the end of a long-term liquidity cycle for everything? And how would gold How would gold handle that? That's the big question, because we don't have the historical data for like the Great Depression, because at that time gold was pegged to $20.57. Maybe it was 67. $20 is what gold was pegged to. But after the big crash had already ensued, the U.S. government did have every citizen return all of their gold and sell it back to the government for $20 per ounce. Citizens were allowed to keep up to 5 ounces of gold for themselves, but after confiscating all the gold at $20 per ounce by the government, the next year they marked the price up to $34 and allowed everybody to buy it back. So how did it behave during the actual crash of the Great Depression? We don't know, but we know at the bottom of it, price practically doubled. Would it have doubled during the crash? We don't know. You can look through the core. I've written newsletters on this, and I've done videos on this, like extensive videos showing how prices behaved, like from 1980s when the gold bubble popped, all the way down to the depths of 2000. Right, it was like a 21-year bear market for gold. While you had like a 21-year bull market in the equity market. Once the equity market stopped and then ranged from 2000 till 2014, gold went into a bull run during that time, right? And then once we escaped from the great financial crisis with the equity market, gold stopped and the equity market ran. So if the equity market comes to a conclusion, will gold run? It's $1 million question. Personally, I am in gold, but I don't know the full answer to that. But I do have a sizable position in gold. But I'd look for my videos where I've deep dived into that. I mean, that's a very, very brief explanation that I've given you. I've spent at least 100 or 200 hours, not just building content on it, but researching it too, right? Hundreds of hours researching that relationship, and then probably 100 hours building content surrounding that. But thank you, 30X. AB3 Photos. Morning, BCB and friends. I hope you're all well. Now buckle up for a ride. Dude, let's go. Gator gifted 5 BCB memberships. Gator, I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. 702 crew showing up strong as always. Pax Rit says thank you to whoever gifted. Pax Rit, there you go, man. Flagrantly obtuse. It's hard for me to trust anyone else's TA. I see other channels regurgitate other chart analysis theory of $27 XRP. I wish it was true. Yeah. I wish it was too. It seems to be all one big trade. Rizo with the super chat and the super sticker. Rizo is a cute little dog. Thank you very much. Kim589 gifted a BCB membership. Thank you, Kim. And Huang Nguyen says 12K then moon! Exclamation point, question mark. See, guys, I don't even know now if you guys are if that's the inside joke of a BCB channel or if people are actually believe it now. I'm just going to always assume it is now a inside joke. We'll just laugh about it. Kim, 589, member 5 months. Huang Nguyen, thank you very much. Kim, 589, member 34 months, going on 3 years. I just received my BCB merch. I love my 702 mug, my 2 gym tops, and a lovely quality XRP hoodie for my husband. Thanks, BCB and family. Dude, rock on. Post a picture of you guys with it over there on Twitter. I'd love to see it. I still don't know if I've received my sticker. I don't know. Sick Thinker gifted 5 BCB memberships. Again, the 702 crew. Let's go. Thank you very much, Sick Thinker. Thank you, guys. My body is ready. Code 9 gifted 1. And Cash Me Outside. Guys, thank you very much. All right, so let's look at Bitcoin now that the day is getting going a little bit. Now we're back above 28.3. Again, keeping an eye over here on 28,000. If we hold that, I mean, this is a reasonable level to assume that could hold for things to get fired off and moving up and away. Again, this is also on top of all daily moving averages. So I'll show you that right there. There you go. All dailies have been reclaimed. Of course, you see that 702 hit when the fake news happened. I don't know if we can trust this wick happening right in here with fake news. I mean, you know what it looked like. It looked like that, right? We were already climbing, but we'll see how things go. I don't think it matters. As you can see right in here, also the 702 was the struggle. What was the big move? The big move was actually breaking from the 702. Just because we got to it didn't mean we were doomtown. It was actually getting through it. So, and that's my thoughts here too, until proven otherwise. If we take out $24,000, of course, my thoughts will change rapidly. But as of right now, definitely not. And I think I'm breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief because this thing has now started to finally get moving. Last week, it was kind of like, hey, dude, that's the opposite way. Then this week it started moving. And it started moving before that news broke over there on Telegraph. So they out several hours before that ended up happening. So good to see that. Good to see above all moving averages happening in here and very technical, normal behavior happening, right? The things we've talked about a lot in here is just that similarities in here. Let's do this too. Bitcoin USD over gold. It's pretty clear on here. Right. That it would just be kind of a grindy grind to work its way back up in here. Right. Exceeds heights, pulls back down with violence, and then just a nasty grind on its way out of here, which, you know, so far so good. So I don't see anything to worry about at this point, unless a break happens. If a break happens, then yeah. But as of right now, 28,400. I'll take it all day. Looks good. 28,000 hold. And maybe, just maybe, this thing's moving. Eric too, man. Look at that 702 crew. Eric, thank you very much. He gifted 5. Thank you guys so much. All right, so here's where we're starting the day out currently right now. Let's refresh again. Bitcoin sitting at 28,451. Stock market trying to recover, at least for the Dow Jones. The Dow is only down 12 points now. It's practically flat. The S&P is down 1/3%, down 14 points, and the Nasdaq's down 27 points, down 0.84. I can't remember what it was earlier, but I think we were like pushing on down almost 200 this morning over there on the Nasdaq, but it's kind of reclaiming a little bit currently right now. Gold is pushing. I can see that on the bottom of my screen. Biggest loser today over here in the stock market is going to be Nvidia, down 5%. Otherwise, everything is less than 2% to the downside and less than 2% to the upside, except for Coinbase, which is the leader. And we'll take that because that's crypto related. Up 3.84% over there for Coinbase. And as for gold pushing back up against last week's highs. Last week at 1932, currently sitting at 1930. So, all right. Moving on up for gold after a big move 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, last week. Now this week still just paused here at this 1930 level. We'll see if that thing can get moving. DXY, look at that volatility that has happened this morning. So DXY was trending down this morning. And then some consumer spending data came out, and consumers were spending more than expectations. Month over month, consumer spending rose 0.6%. Expectations were 0.2%. It's kind of a needle that has to be thread in there, because if you miss it to the downside, it makes it seem as though there's worries about, consumer strength and are we heading into recession? But when we miss it to the upside, it's like, hey, consumers are too strong, so the Fed is going to hold rates higher. It kind of has to be threaded right there in the needle. Last couple months have been misses to the upside of consumers continuing to spend money. So we saw a quick pop over there, and the DXY happened this morning as that data was released. Boom, now it's taking it all back again as the day gets going. So DXY is still just hovering here, not doing anything. After a couple of weeks ago, we witnessed that one live, hitting that 50% retracement. The 0.5 fib level came back in right during markets in the morning, and ever since then, from October 3rd, 2 weeks ago from today, still just continuing this action down in here. And finally, that parabolic growth has come to a chill out, and hopefully that can maintain itself. Otherwise, we see moves over there in metals today. Gold at 19.29, silver at 22.95. But those yields, those longer duration yields, are still proving to be strong, with Nvidia getting wrecked this morning and Coinbase leading the way. Bitcoin above 28,380 currently right now. So Oscar says, with inflation, has the price of Bitcoin retracement gone down? Probably, but nothing significant, right? If you're going to use fibs, if you believe it's going to go to a 702 Fibonacci retracement, which I'm not certain it will, but let's do this. We'll do a exercise. So the inflation rate for Bitcoin's pretty low, right? Due to the last halving event. Bitcoin market cap. I'm doing this on my other screen, and then I'll bring it in here. There we go. There's a market cap of Bitcoin. Let's just pick the 618 retracement level in itself, right? If you pick the 618 retracement, that's a 66.79% increase, right? So if we look at Bitcoin, thank you for whoever's just sitting there smashing the heart button. I see that. 66.79%. Close enough. Where does that get us to? As you can see, due to inflation, it does not quite reach that 618 retracement like we saw. Where is it? Here. Right? The market cap could get to a 618 retracement with a 66.79% increase, but Bitcoin would come up short. So right now, due to inflation, it's off by about 2.5%, right? Which is nothing huge when we're talking about years, right? I mean, how long has this been just from here? Almost 2 whole years, right? Only 2.47% difference. Not bad. But yeah, when the more time that elapses, the more that inflation impacts these metrics and these figures. I'm pretty sure that was your question, Oscar. If not, shoot me a DM. I got you, brother. All right. There we have it. Bitcoin, $28,400 as the week gets kicked off. Today, be keeping an eye on that 28,000 even. See if we can hold there as a support level. Looks pretty good to me. Otherwise, Oscar Hernandez says, can you show us Ethereum too? Okay, we'll do Ethereum. We'll do Ethereum. And we'll start wrapping this baby up. If you were to do the same exercise and use a 618 retracement level for Ethereum, (618) retracement is 108% away, maybe 109. 109 on the market cap. So we're going to go up 109%. And it's really close, but a little bit less, right? Off by about 1.5%. Oops. 1.5%, right? And that'll change, and keep an eye on it on whether Ethereum is inflationary or deflationary moving into that. It would probably become rapidly deflationary during this moment because so much trading and movement would happen on the Ethereum chain that would cause spending and burning of Ethereum. So you'd probably see it move into deflationary. Currently, right now, let's see if we can pull. I think it's right now it's inflationary. Ultrasound money Ethereum. So currently, right now, for the last 7 days, it has been inflationary. The inflationary rate that Ethereum has been at is at a 0.45% inflationary rate. Remember, Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin's 1.75. It says about 1.8. I think it's 1.75%. So the inflationary rate is 1/3 currently right now of what Bitcoin is. Let's look for the last 30 days. The last 30 days, the inflationary rate has been 0.37% of all time, or not of all time, but since the merge happened over a year ago. So for the last year, net deflationary, negative 0.2%. So during periods of where there's a lot of activity going on, you know, trading in secondary markets, meme coins, all that kind of crazy stuff happening out there, you're typically going to end up seeing a lot more burn happen for Bitcoin or for Ethereum. So this will be something to monitor at the time based on what is happening with the inflationary rate. But again, just keeping an eye over there on the market cap and how it's doing. There you go. So, all right, Bitcoin, $28,400. We got 752 likes with 1,600 people in here, guys. If you could hit the like button, we'll go ahead and get things going. Code 9 and Cash Me Outside. PTW is on top of it. She says, hey, did you skip these guys? No, I don't think I did. Pretty sure I could see it right there on my screen. It was Code 9. It was Cash Me Outside. And then Eric Martinson coming out swinging. And then people want XRP. We've already done XRP. I'm done. I'm done. We'll do XRP tomorrow. How about that? We just did that like 2 weeks ago. We just did XRP like 2 weeks ago. So we'll save it for tune in tomorrow for the same exercise done on the XRP price chart. So, all right, I'm doing a bunch of research over on my end. I got my hands on some data that I'm interested in. So we'll see. I'm considering getting a video out today, but I also have some stuff that I wanted to do to further my education, because I like a lot of times you get caught up in like having to produce content, push content out, but at the same time having to like not have my full understanding of some things. There's something I really wanted to focus on today. So we'll see if I can get both those things done today. Oscar, you got ripped off. I told you Ethereum was the last one, Oscar, and then you did it, buddy. All right. Oscar, I'll get you tomorrow. No super chats required. I have to wrap this up. We're at an hour though. It always gets silly after an hour. All right. I love you guys so much. I want to thank you all for tuning in. And when we did do the exercise last week, just so you know, we did it on the 4.236 extension for XRP. It was last week or the week prior. And we did it based on market cap. And it came in that if you did a full 4.236 extension on the XRP market cap, it's officially below that $10 level. I think it was like $9.80 or $9.70 or something like that. So the more time that passes, remember XRP is at like a 6 to 7% inflation rate annually. The more time that passes, the more that number comes down every month because more gets unlocked from that escrow. So as time keeps going, that number keeps coming down and down and down. But all right. That's it, guys. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you for the support, everybody. Thank you for just always being here. We always have a good time. I appreciate you coming out. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. Fortunately, Bitcoin's sitting above $28,000 right now, where my 12K is at. Let's go. 12K, then moon, baby. All right. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Where's my stuff? Check out bcbacker.com for more educational content from me, for more videos from me. Over 11 hours worth with 40 videos educating you on the crypto market and on charts over here on bcbacker.com. Otherwise, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like the live stream. Please give it a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. I forgot to tell you I wrote a newsletter yesterday. I published one yesterday. Okay, come on. You could do it, buddy. There it is. And check out my newsletter that I wrote yesterday. And, of course, have a good one. Oscar with the BCB gift. Thank you, man. All right, guys, that's it. Have a good one.